Come out to the bar.
Hello YouTube, cheers and welcome to The Basement. My name is Bruce Lively.
And I'm D-Boy Slim.
And The Basement Debates is the first daily hip-hop debate show. From Tuesday through Friday, we tackle the most intriguing topics in hip-hop culture and the world around it. So welcome back, Basement family. And simple. The best verse of the year will be debated on this show. So far, it's June, what is it? June?
We're halfway into the year.
Halfway.
We realize
month 6.
But
best verse of the year so far. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say what you was gonna say.
Also, you guys check out our Patreon page. We just put up a live joint last week, and we're doing it again tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock p.m. Only if you're a patron. You get to debate us live on anything that you've not liked what I said, what D-Boy has said. You get to debate us live. And actually, some people can even call in, and we debate you live on the air. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Go become a patron. Okay? The /Team Box Cutter. Patreon.com/Team Box Cutter. Go become a patron. Be ready for this debate tomorrow. If you missed last week's, you're not too late. All right. Today's question. Who got the best verse of the year so far, and what is it?
Here we go.
With that being said, let go. This one's quick and easy, man. Who you got?
For me, and I won't hold y'all. It wasn't that hard of a choice, being that, like you said, we only in June. And I do want to shout out the Don Q's, the Dave Easts that are going hard out there. Even my man Papoose, he's still dropping.
There we go.
I'm just saying.
But Papoose still.
But
we still looking at Run DMC, or what's happening here, man? What's going on?
The best verse of the year so far has to come from Nipsey Hussle in that album. I think it was the Victory. It was a Victory Lap.
Victory Lap. With his hand out the window.
Now, there are a couple of choices to choose from on that album. He has a joint with Kendrick Lamar's Crazy.
I heard that.
K-Dot went crazy on that.
Ham.
But the one that sticks out to me, and I'll give you my reasons in just 1 second, is the Blue Laces 2. Y'all go check that out. Verse 2 on the Blue Laces 2. The opening verse, he kind of opens it up and telling you who he is, whatever. But the second verse on there is so potent. I mean, when you hear it, you know what I'm talking. Like, it's classic. Like when you think of whose verse or whatever, and you stand by the verse that stands out. If you're like me, and you like your music where you can actually pull something from it and put it in your pocket and live by it and think with it and eat off of it and plan with it. Like, if you're like that, then you can get that out your music. Then this verse here, you will love.
Dropped out of school, I'ma teach myself. Made my first meal on my own, I don't need your help. Black Tom Ford, it's a special evening. City council meeting, they got Hussle speaking. $1 billion project about to crack the semen.
This verse will allow you to go and research and get knowledge on history. This verse allows you to properly blueprint what being a young black mogul and business owner is about. Like, he gives the blueprint of that. And this is why I love Nipsey Hussle's music in itself, but this particular verse showcases that perfectly. He starts out by saying they killed Dr. Sebi because he was teaching health. That I thought to be, like, when I first heard the album, I said, yo, he's going in a direction like, this is where the Nas is, this is where even Pac, if Pac was here, he would tell, this is the direction that those guys were trying to go in and teaching you and you know, stuff that maybe your history books or you might not have learned in school that you should know. Dr. Sebi, for those who don't know, was a guy who was practicing in medicine and actually had a cure for AIDS.
Facts.
It was said to be that it was a conspiracy or whatever because he was, I'm not sure, didn't want to sell the cure, or they couldn't get the cure or whatever, or didn't want him to sell the cure, something like that. But mysteriously he ended up dying or whatever, and it was always something said that there may have been foul play in that. Y'all go do your history, come up with your own interpretations, but those are the facts. Like, this is what Nipsey is wanting to teach you on his album. And the very next line, he says, I fuck with Rick Ross. I mess with Rick Ross because he's teaching wealth. Now he said they killed Dr. Sebi because he's teaching health. I mess with Rick Ross because he's teaching wealth. Two powerful lines. For those of you who wondered his alignment, or, you know, there was a time people said he could have signed with Maybach or whatever. Obviously, he chose to stay independent. He says, I mess with Rick Ross because he's teaching wealth. If you know anything about Ross, if one thing you can give him is that he's always preaching that. I've seen him at interviews talking about the value of going to the art show and value and buying paintings as an investment because they're worth money. He's not lying in anything that he said. And like I said, what I love the most about it is that he's teaching. He's teaching. Later on, he goes to say, I'm at the city council meeting. They got Hussle speaking. Y'all guys talk a lot of this gangster stuff. I'm in my later 30s. Y'all guys talk a lot of this trap stuff, and trust me, my name is D-Boy Slim. I respect it all when you talk that level. When you talk that street talk, when you talk your talk, I respect it all. I've yet to hear the young guy that comes on and says, instead of destroying his community, I'm putting more work in the hood, or, you know, I shot up his block, or we had to go have, it was a bang out or something like that. He says, I'm at the city council meeting.
Facts. It's hard to debate that.
Yeah, that in itself is just like, those are powerful lines within this verse that, to me, distinguishes him from all the rest of who's out there, and which is why I won't hold y'all. I'll let Bruce tell you who he thought had the best verse. But this is why I felt like his verse and this particular song in itself, but that verse was so potent, so profound, so thorough. It has to, like I said, just the substance inside of it. With wordplay and all of that, we can argue that till we blue in the face another day. But the message that you're getting out of his music, the weight that and the substance that's coming out of that particular verse is second to none, honestly. And I don't know, or maybe I haven't heard, maybe Bruce or one of y'all could tell me. I've yet to hear anything like it.
Well, I will say this, like I said, that's a tough one to debate because potency matters. What he's talking about matters, and it's a healing factor to it. It's telling you more than just the streets, which is why I also chose J. Cole Window Pane, his outro. The whole verse is just an outro. And because what we was talking about before this whole show, we was talking about Tekashi, and we were going in on the gangs and how many more I'm from Chicago, and how many more gangs have letters behind their names that I don't even know what they mean anymore. Folks gang, growth and development gangs is fighting against each other, and they've added K's and R's and I's to say, well, I'm a different type of gangster.
Different from how it originated.
And we've gotten so divided, it seems like it's just about acceptance, and this is what your boy talks about in Window Pane. When you hear J. Cole say,
niggas bang in the Ville, I always thought that shit was strange. How you claim blood or cuz when that was just a LA thing. That it seemed like for acceptance, niggas will do anything. Niggas will rep any gang, niggas will bust any head. Niggas granny live, blow, blow, his granny duck. He don't give a fuck, he's on Henny and Zanny duck.
Watch the video, because that's the first reason. When you have that much of a documentary of what's going on right now, to the point where it's the things that we talk about off the air and don't ever expect to talk about it again. He's rapping it, and when you hear that, you know what it is when you hear it. That's the thing that you know it when you hear it. That is one of the most poignant points I've heard in today's music that needs to be said. Repping everything just to get on. It becomes old and it loses its value at that point. The second reason is this dude did an entire minute and a half at the end of this verse, excluded himself and talked about a young girl he met while he was on tour.
The little girl I met this past summer said don't forget me. That I'm sorry for the pain you had to live through. I know I'm blessed because your stress is realer than anything I done been through.
And not about him. And about how he knows that there's nothing that he could ever say, or there's no life he's ever lived that could be as hard as hers, and he's crying for her, and he's praying for her, and this is how he did it. Now, that may seem like, well, I've heard that before, but not this year. I haven't. Number one, the poignant, the potency, when he's naming off all the names of all the things you can be for acceptance, when the only thing you really need to be is yourself, that got it right there. And then, when you come off with the entire rest of the outro about somebody else who's going through something else, and you did this just for them instead of giving light to your own name. And of course, you know, he's a poet. He's a poetic great. One of the greats. Poetic great. Nuanced poetic great out here. Best verse of the year. Different. Potent. Unlike anything else I've heard so far. Shout out to Black Thought, who just came out. I had to listen to that before this because I didn't want... That just came out on the 1st, which was just a couple days ago, so I didn't want that to go by and me not to listen to that before I chose one. And shout out to Rhapsody too. She had a dope verse on that album. But it's got to be J. Cole.
Yeah, I hear you. But it's something about the guy, you know, Mr. Crenshaw, you know, coming from the worst of the worst and talking about me and my homie. He said, I'm about to crack the cement. I'm about to make my partners look like geniuses. It's so strategic. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, what you want me to say? You got no debate here on that. It's just not my favorite because...
There's something about him. And like I said, he captures all of this inside of this verse. So it's telling you the story, which you often hear, but how he's putting it in the business terms and mogul moves that he's letting you know that he's making along the way. Like I said, it's unparalleled. And he captures all of that inside of this verse. The song, you know, the beat is on a nice laid back beat where you can hear everything clearly. That's the best verse. It's the best verse. Y'all let us know what y'all think. Have y'all heard the two verses?
It seems like for acceptance, niggas will do anything. Niggas will rep any gang. Niggas will bust any head. Niggas will lose everything. It's about time somebody said that. That's why I chose it. I'm just gonna be honest, that's why I chose it. It's about time somebody said that. Not just the fact at the end where he talked about the young girl and made the entire rest of the rap about her and not him. About time somebody said that. But I'm not gonna argue with you.
That hits hard for you, you know.
Yeah.
And I respect that. Again, y'all let us know what y'all think. The Nipsy Blue Laces 2. Please check that out if you haven't. It's a classic album, that's a classic song, and it's a classic verse.
Or J. Cole, Window Pane, the outro on another classic album. Well, it's yet to be determined classic, but another great album. I'll give it that. But a classic verse, I'll tell you that much. What do y'all think? Check it out.
Shout outs?
We got no shout outs, but because I didn't put that out until today, you guys saw Tuesday's joint today, as well as you're seeing this one. But we do have a new subscriber, and I'll give you the name right here. New subscriber, the Daddy King Snake. That's what's up, the Daddy King Snake, new subscriber. Salute to you, man. And everybody else, you guys have been waiting for a long time. We got 2 coming up today because we missed yesterday, Tuesdays, but tomorrow we will be live on Patreon. Go there now and get your credits, man. That's it, the basement.
Peace.
Peace.